Okay, I did my capstone project on what are the main causes and possible solutions that impact attendance in a rural elementary school from a parent's perspective. I thought it was interesting to get the parent's perspective from my research data rather than just the common things that you hear and understand from the school's perspective. Anyhow, as an introduction, the U.S. Department of Education reports that an estimated 8 million students in the U.S. missed more than 3 weeks of school in 2015 and 16, which was an increase of over 6.8 million students from the previous year. Everyone was in agreement that missing valuable instruction time can lead to a student to fail courses in middle school and also drop out from high school, show less persistence in college. Especially hard hit are children who live in poverty, have chronic health conditions or disabilities, or experience homelessness or frequent moves. Poor attendance has a huge impact on both the chronically absent student as well as their peers with better attendance. So we looked at what are the root causes that impact student attendance from a parent's perspective. The methodology I used was qualitative research, survey-based interviews. I emailed parents that had students at the elementary school, kindergarten through third grade. I emailed them all a survey through Google Forms. That way it was an easier method to get all the information back, all the responses, and code it. Using survey-based interviews with parents provided me with common themes and patterns that were brought out through each individual answer and perspective. They're also more universally accessible and allow flexibility of time for the participants. I went over the procedure. I emailed them via Google Forms. They were coded and evaluated. There was quite a few interesting responses, not just from a researcher standpoint, but from also a teacher and a mother standpoint. A couple of articles I found interesting that had to do with my research for my literature review. My basic questions were what with low attendance encounter that affect their child's attendance. One article I found in the neighboring community of Walla Walla, Washington, there was just recently an article written about the insurmountable costs of childcare these days. So that directly pertained to a lot of the attendance issues that we see at our school also. Parents can't afford childcare or they have to work nights, stuff like this. So it was cool to read about something that pertained directly to our students as well. What are some of the possible actions that our school district could offer to help support stronger attendance? There was quite a few solutions that were mentioned by the participants, as well as some literature that talked about how community involvement boosted parent and family morale and involvement with sports and any extracurricular activities. The more you were involved with school, the more likely you were to be having better attendance, I should say. Another article I found interesting, which Oregon has relatively the same laws, whether or not they choose to enforce it, but I found an article that California actually has a law that parents of chronically absent students can actually be charged a large monetary fee, as well as can be imprisoned for up to a year if their child misses so much school. So the analysis of the results of my survey, the common themes among the majority of the participants were struggles surrounding availability and affordability of childcare, parental schedule conflicts, the mindset of parents regarding compulsory attendance and its impact on child success. One interviewee actually stated that parents are working night shifts and odd hours, so siblings are taking care of younger siblings. Also seen that there is an attitude about the lack of importance school is for people. Lack of communication between school and parents furthers the problem, and not enough teacher-parent conferences during the school year is what the participants reported. Analysis of solutions. Despite the list of concerns regarding attendance, all parents surveyed listed ideas and solutions to remedy the problem. Suggested solutions included parental education, before and after school childcare, parent teacher relationship building, late pickup busing, and stronger parent accountability. In summary, I was surprised to learn that most participants viewed the overall attitude regarding compulsory attendance as a major component. Barriers such as inadequate transportation, schedule conflicts, and lack of childcare were direct influences on whether a child attended regularly or not. Participants felt as though the parental stigma that school was optional gave parents less motivation to overcome their barriers they may have had as a child, and allowed them to simply solve that problem by keeping the child at home. Overall, though, it was clear that the value and importance of being at school was instilled firmly within all the interviewees, and that parental involvement was critical to their child's attendance and academic achievement. Some limitations for my research were time, getting a hold of parents, finding time between work and school and sports and everything else going on. Participant availability plays into that. Access to student attendance and their academic records to check for correlations, and whether participants' responses were any different because I'm a teacher at the school. Some considerations of next steps, or if I did this project again, I would love to interview parents, actually get to sit down and get those leading questions, see the body language, and also interview groups of parents based on different characteristics, such as parents of students that have chronic attendance issues, single parent households versus two parent household barriers, and it would be awesome to interview ELL parents. So in conclusion, we found out the barriers were childcare, mindset of parents, and schedule conflicts, and the solutions were more parental education, before and after school childcare, parent-teacher relationship building, and late pickup busing.